All right, here's the brutal, no fluff breakdown where most agency owners and potentially you get stuck, ignore the warning signs, or convince themselves that everything's fine when it's not. This isn't about tearing you down today. It's about exposing your blind spots so that you can fix them before they cost you momentum, money, or your people. My name is Dana Neeson. Welcome back to Final Expense Telesales. Today we're going to get down into the 6 things that are probably holding you back from taking your business to the next level. First thing that you probably have all wrong is that you are relying on momentum instead of systems. If your production is growing because you are the one personally pushing every day, that's not momentum. It's hustle on life support. If you step away for even a week and the numbers dip, then the reality is you're not running a business. You are running on borrowed energy. So how do we fix this? How do you get yourself out of production level leadership and into the type of leadership that people want to follow and push through walls for, even when you're not there? The first thing that you have to do to fix that problem is right in here. You have to be okay with mentally taking a step back from your personal production, from your personal income, so that you can document every repeatable process and duplicatable process that you have. You have to take the time to build systems so production grows even when you're not the one on the front lines pushing it. Yes, we want to have somebody that your team can point to so that they can see what's possible. But if that person is always you, and you aren't pouring into someone else to help them repeat what you do, then nobody on your team will ever think it's possible if you're the only one who ever does it, right? Because they're looking at you as the perfection model, not as what's possible. Which leads us right into point number 2. You are chasing talent instead of building it. You might be too focused on recruiting the rock stars in the industry and not enough training your average but hungry agents and turning those people into closers and into the top producer rock stars that other people want to recruit, right? Big producers can walk, but trained culture, aligned people, developed will stay. And when you do that and you develop the rock star that other people envy and want to capture to their team, they have a reason to stay with you and not look elsewhere. So how do you fix this, right? Stop looking outside of your agency and trying to grab top producers from other companies. It's actually distracting your focus away from your team and on to your next shiny object. You're actually teaching your agents that shiny object syndrome is something that you do, which then leads your agents to look at what else is out there. Think about what you're modeling, what your behavior is. So shift your recruiting pitch from join and produce, and we have the highest comp, to join and grow. Right? Be a curriculum that turns the average agents into better people, not just better closers, and watch how they will just open up and develop into something that they never even knew was possible themselves. Mistake number 3 that you might be making is romanticizing the hustle. Now, there are some people online right now that will shame you if you're not working from 6 a.m. to 2 a.m. It kind of reminds me of an eating disorder, but a work disorder. I think we need to come up with a term for that. I think that there's a line between working a good 10 to 12 hour day when you're first starting in this industry and you're paying your dues and you're putting in the time. But if you believe that the only answer to success is to outwork everyone, and that's the only key to growth, I mean, that's a dangerous line for you yourself to be in. But then to think that that is the model that makes a life insurance agent successful, it works, but until burnout hits, or until you physically can't keep up because you've worked yourself into the ground and now you're sick because of stress. Okay, growth comes from leveraging people, systems, and money, not just hours. So track how much of your time is spent building the machine versus being the machine. Because when you actually build the machine that people can come into and utilize on day one, instead of you just working yourself to the bone and expecting other people to do that, you will attract more people that actually believe that it's possible. Number 4, which is kind of along the same theme here, but you're probably underinvesting in the infrastructure that you need. You're hesitating to spend money on tech. You're worried about having an assistant or having some staff or even some VAs or a marketing person because it feels maybe too soon. It feels too expensive, or you feel like maybe you're capping your growth and you'd rather spend that money elsewhere. But if you are investing, like if you're currently investing, but only in revenue generating areas, you might be ignoring this huge operational backbone that will literally help you hold it all together. That when something looks like it's about to break, you've paid for someone to run to that and glue it up for you so that you can focus on actually building the business, not fixing things that are breaking inside of your business. So the tip for that is try to budget for capacity well before you need it. The infrastructure always lags growth if you wait until it's too painful to ignore. So I'm 6 months now into rebuilding my agency, Empower Life Group. I probably could have followed my own advice and brought on an assistant maybe 2 months ago. I'm still patting myself on the back that 6 months in, I have made that decision. I'm seeing the areas that I'm spending too much time in. I'm acknowledging it, and I'm spending money I don't have so that I can actually grow faster. It's uncomfortable. It's a hard decision. I have to take out 0 interest credit cards. I did that in the beginning to grow my business, but I'm taking a bet on myself because nobody is going to bet on myself more than me. Number 5, you're probably ignoring really, really important data because the top line, the numbers look good on paper. So what do I mean by that? When deposits are hitting your bank account, it's really, really easy to avoid looking at your KPIs, like to really, really look at it. And I'm sharing this with you because this is something that I know that I need work on. And so I know if I need work on it and I'm 6 months in, I can guarantee that there are other business owners who are also ignoring this stuff because it either takes too long or they really don't want to face the actual numbers. You need to know things like cost per lead across the board, cost per acquisition. You need to know agent retention. You need to understand things like talk time. You need to understand things like pickup to close ratio. Like you need to understand how much business is being written versus how much is actually making their first payment. You need to start tracking persistency. You need to start making sure that the business that agents are writing is actually sticking and where the holes are. So that top line growth, it can really uncover a lot of operational faults that are really easy to look past when you have not replaced the administration part of yourself, because you're only tackling like the most important fires that need to be put out. And these reports that tell you a lot about your business are getting pushed to the side. So audit every number, hire someone if you need to, ask ChatGPT to give you formulas if you need help, but celebrate the truth, what's really happening with your business, not just the deposits. And lastly, something that might be holding you back from growing your business is you're probably avoiding having hard conversations. Now, if you have underperformers, if you have misaligned leaders, if you have cultural cracks and you've told yourself It'll all work itself out. Or you're making this a numbers game and you think people are just going to leave and you'll replace them with someone else and you've always done it this way and that's just how it is. You're missing out on a huge opportunity to really get to know your people, to get to know their strengths, get to know their weaknesses, get to know what makes them tick. Why are there cracks in your culture? Why are your leaders feeling misaligned? Are you blaming them? Or are you looking inward and looking at yourself? What am I doing or not doing that's causing this downstream effect where misalignment is being created, where cultural shifts are being introduced, where people are now looking outside of your organization onto YouTube University or Facebook groups and trying to get answers when those answers should be coming from within? The work that you do on yourself is the most important work that you can do for your business. And the way to prevent this from getting out of control to a point where it's just taken on its own life, cut fast, coach directly and consistently, and protect the culture ruthlessly. That means showing up. Your team doesn't need you to be perfect, they just need you to be present. I hope one of these points hit home with you today. I am speaking to the leaders out there. Building a business with a solid foundation is the single most important thing to me in protecting Empower Life Group and making it the beacon of light. Partnering with Lasting Mark with other like-minded people who feel the same way is exactly what's going to make us outshine. If you want more information on how to join our team, all of my contact information is in the description below. Have a blessed sales day. Go coach someone, and I'll see you on the next video. Ciao.